Up, we've got Illinois and Michigan, a big matchup in the Big Ten, although it's taken some shine off by the fact that Illinois lost 2 in a row all of a sudden after a great start to the year. They've dropped back-to-back games to Michigan State and Purdue. They will be looking to bounce back here in the Big House against Michigan, which will be easier said than done. Michigan, 17-point home favorites, 43 the total in this game. I'm going to take a shot with the Illini here, Conor Mack, believe it or not. I know things are kind of going off the rails for them a little bit. Lost the last 2 games to Michigan State and Purdue, failed to cover. But again, 16.5-point favorites, 6.5-point favorites. They lose by 8 to Michigan State, a lot of turnovers. They were actually outgained Michigan State by 147 in total yards, which tells you just how much turnovers played a part in that loss to the Spartans. Last week against Purdue, they moved the football well enough on offense. DeVito was solid. He did make one mistake. It was kind of odd to see the struggles to run the football. Chase, you got to give Purdue's run defense credit. They actually played all right. They held Chase Brown to 98 rushing yards, and more than anything, they just could not stop the run or the pass. And again, the secondary is an issue for Illinois. You can make plays throwing the ball, and I saw it in the Indiana loss early in the year. It was a big pass play that allowed Indiana to win that game. So the secondary is still a little shaky for Illinois. It's, Michigan, obviously, look, 34-3, 52-17, 29-7, winning and covering every week, 41-17 over Penn State. This is not an easy team to bet against right now. I totally get that. And I know if they play their best, they could win and cover this number as 17-point favorites. There's no question about that. That being said, they got the Ohio State game next week. You got to think this is a different thought process now. It's just you win the game. If you get the margin, fine. If you don't, you just win the game and move on here if you're Michigan. You don't really need style points, I think, anymore, because it's going to come down to that Ohio State game anyway next week in terms of your fate when it comes to the playoff, as far as the playoff is concerned. So, and now we got Illinois back in the role that I prefer them in, underdog role. You look at Illinois early in the season, they were good in the underdog role. At Wisconsin, 34-10, they won outright as underdogs. At Minnesota, 4.5-point dogs at home. They won 26-14. As this team, I think this team is damn near close to perfect ATS in the dog role this year. The Indiana game they covered too, if you got them early, because they opened 3.5, 4-point dogs in that game. They closed at 1. So they would have covered if you got them early in that game. So this is the role for Illinois. The big game next week for Ohio State. This is a tricky little spot, and against an Illinois team that they've lost 2 in a row, but it's not like they got wiped out in those 2 games. I'm probably going to, and I haven't stepped in front of Michigan much this year, but I might here with the Illinois side getting more than 17 in this game, 17.5. Any thoughts here, C-Mac?
Yeah, Ricky, we'll get to that later. We haven't gotten there. Brett Bielema as a favorite. Just don't take him. It's kept me off last week. Even I liked them a little bit. There's something with them, especially when a team can't get behind because they don't throw it well. And they don't take him. But now as a dog, I'm thinking about it. And here's the deal. Zoe put it in the chat. I talked about it on Saturday. They got done. Michigan's been asleep a little bit these first halves and just dominated the second half. So I don't know what it is. It takes a little time for this team to get rolling. So I'd look at Illinois again, first half, take the points here, because I could see Michigan maybe covering full game. So I'll look that way again. I don't know if I split it or not, but I think I will go first half here. But you're right. Michigan's got to handle this one first. They are at home. I think they win it. But you're right. 17 is a lot here.